If I were coming back to the flute after a long time away, here are 5 things that I would do to reduce overwhelm so you can get back to making music. I even created a free guide that I linked in the description below if you want to snag it, with a bunch of information on how to get started back with a sound technique, as a fingering chart, a glossary of musical terms. It's everything you need to get back to the flute. After surveying hundreds of flutists who are coming back to the instrument after sometimes even decades away from it, these are 5 essential things that help sustain a creative practice. And at the end, I'll be sharing one really big mistake I see a lot of students fall into when they return to the instrument, and how to avoid it. Step 1, meet yourself where you are. You may have taken decades off the instrument, maybe even 30 years. That is enough time for someone to be born, grow up, and have kids of their own. So if you think your body hasn't changed in 30 years, it has. Even year to year. Even day to day feels different sometimes. I mention this because a lot of the time we like to think about getting back to where we were instead of building from where we are. The biggest thing you can do for yourself is meet yourself where you are today, and every single day. Some days will feel better than the day before. Some days will feel worse than the day before. That's all normal. That's all part of having a practice and showing up with what you've got every single day. Your body plays your instrument. It's not a deficiency. It's just today's version of your body meeting the flute. Let go of who you were in relation to the flute and cultivate who you are now in relation to it, body, mind, and all. Step 2, create a minimum baseline goal for your practice. We're talking 15 minutes a day. You might think, well, what can I actually get done in that amount of time? I have a couple hours on Saturday to devote to this. Wouldn't it be better if I put in 2 hours on Saturday instead of just like a measly 15 minutes per day? The answer is actually no. Training your body for these micro movements is really what we're doing. We're creating muscular habits, and our investment compounds the more regularly we spend time with our instrument. 15 minutes is really easy to do, but it's also really easy to not do. So your brain might think, oh, I only have 15 minutes, I only have 10 minutes. It isn't worth it. Don't listen to your brain. And when that comes up in your brain, expect it. Say, oh, that's what that girl on YouTube was talking about. And if 15 minutes every single day feels like too much, then start even smaller. Just get out your flute, put it together, and you're either going to play it or stare at the wall. Just set aside those 15 minutes to be with your instrument out of the case. Make time, schedule it, honor it. Step number 3, sign up for frustration. I literally want you to write down on a piece of paper, write your name, am willing to feel frustrated during my flute practice. I understand that this is part of learning an instrument, and sign it. This is so underrated. A lot of times we resist frustration. We think we aren't supposed to feel frustrated if it's working, but actually frustration is just part of it. Always is. It is for everybody. It's like a rite of passage. So instead of thinking about it as a detriment or another obstacle, think about it as a rite of passage. You're a real musician. You've become extremely frustrated and you've pushed past it. Expecting frustration to be there is a lot easier than thinking it shouldn't be there when it comes up. Let it flow through your body, take a deep breath, calm your nervous system, and come back. I promise frustration isn't forever. One really big way to kind of mitigate frustration as much as possible is to never think that you should already be able to do something. I hear this all the time from students. I think I should already be able to do this. Why can't I do this? You can even hear the frustration in my voice. You shouldn't already be able to do it because you can't yet, and that's okay. It's frustrating because we aren't owed progress. We're not entitled to progress just because we practice. Our body has to catch up, and it's going to do that on its own time. If you drop the thought, I should be able to do this, it's going to feel so much lighter and easier. Number 4, make bad sounds. Flute can be really challenging. Sound is one of the most talked about fundamental things that we work on as flutists. We don't have a mouthpiece. We don't have a reed or anything like that. The instrument doesn't change. You change. Be willing to make bad sounds. They're just as informative as really good sounds. If something doesn't sound or feel right, keep exploring. Try things, fall on your face, laugh at yourself a little bit, and keep going. That's how we grow. And if you try a bunch of different things, you can take them to a teacher and say, hey, this is what I've tried. What am I missing here? Likely that teacher will steer you in a really clear direction. Step number 5, invest in physical awareness. If you played the flute when you were younger and you took private lessons, you may have heard a bunch of different things to do, like make your air warm or cold, or faster or slower, or push your bottom lip forward, or aim the airstream up or down. But we aren't always told why we're supposed to do this. If you want a full crash course in why, you can check out my fundamental series linked here. I have 9 episodes detailing the fundamental principles of how to play high notes, low notes, what affects your sound, so you can troubleshoot on your own. Because when you want to change your sound, you have to change physically. Once again, this does not change. When something improves, notice what you did in your body. Was it you released tension in your jaw? Was your posture a bit different? Really be aware of those things, because what you're going to recreate is the physicality, not sort of what you are abstractly thinking about. Write these realizations down in a journal. This will totally fast track your progress. Now, the biggest mistake that I see students make when they are returning to the instrument is expecting results too quickly. This can be really frustrating because all day long on the internet we are offered quick fixes, life hacks for this, tips and tricks. There's not a lot of tips and tricks when it comes to the flute. There are fundamental principles, there are suggestions, there are ways of going about the instrument, but it really is, at the end of the day, a practice. And the beauty of this practice comes from tending to your ability daily like you would a plant. You're not forcing a plant to grow in a specific way. You're not dictating where and when a leaf sprouts. You're just creating and nurturing the environment every day, regularly, and seeing what happens. If you go through your practice this way, you are much less likely to blame yourself for not being good enough, not learning things fast enough, or all of those other silly things that our brain tends to tell us. This isn't a math equation. You can't just do someone else's warm-up routine or technical routine and get the result automatically. It takes patience, it takes practice, it takes sitting with yourself, going inward. Ask, what do you need to learn this passage? How many more times do you need to do it? Not just tally marking 10 because someone told you to do it. What this does, it asks us to go inward. It asks us to look inside ourselves for answers, contemplate, and sit with ourselves. In a world that is so fast-paced and fast-moving and obsessed with asking ChatGPT for answers, this is such a contrast. What we're doing is ancient. It is a practice that is beautiful. You are creating sound, you are creating music, you are literally breathing life into your instrument. And my favorite reminder, and the antidote to some of this frustration or feeling like you're entitled to results, is it takes as long as it takes. I have that written on a Post-it on my music stand because I, like everybody else, have compared myself to how fast it takes or slow it takes for other people to learn things, how far along I am compared to somebody else. It's such an important thing to remember, that it just takes as long as it takes, and it literally cannot take less time than that. Now, if you want to jumpstart your journey back to the instrument, I have a free guide linked in the description. It's a PDF that goes through all of these things a little bit more in detail. What you can do if you don't currently have an instrument or it's just been collecting dust for the past 20 years in your closet. A glossary of musical terms and flute terms that are really helpful, and it might be one of those questions you're like, I should probably know this, but I totally forgot. A fingering chart, how to get started again with sound and technique, and more. So if you're interested in that, I have that linked in the description below. Remember, it takes as long as it takes. I'm here for you. If you have questions, put them in the comments, and I will see you next time.